Have you ever wondered what it feels like to love someone so much that you would risk everything for them? In a quiet village surrounded by misty mountains and fields of tall golden grass, there lived a young girl named Mulan. She was not a princess. She did not live in a palace. She was simply a daughter. Every morning she woke before the sun. She fetched water from the river. She helped her mother prepare meals, and she listened carefully whenever her father spoke. Her father had once been a great warrior. His armor still hung on the wall of their small wooden home, polished but untouched for years. But time had not been kind to him. His hands trembled when he poured tea. His leg dragged slightly when he walked. The war had taken his strength long ago. And yet, one evening, as the wind carried dust through the village, the sound of drums echoed through the streets. An imperial messenger rode into town. Behind him, soldiers carried scrolls sealed with the emperor's mark.
The Hun army was invading. Every family must send one man to serve in the imperial army.
One man. The villagers gathered in silence. Names were called one by one. When they called Mulan's family name, her father stepped forward, slowly, proudly. Even though he could barely stand straight, Mulan felt her heart drop into her stomach. "Father," she whispered when they returned home, "you cannot fight." He smiled gently. "It is my duty, but you will die," she said, her voice trembling. "If I must," he replied, "better me than dishonor." That night, the house was quiet. Her mother wept softly behind closed doors. Her father prepared his old armor. Mulan sat alone outside, staring at the moon. The wind moved through the trees like a whisper. She thought about honor. She thought about duty. But most of all, she thought about love. And something inside her shifted. Not rebellion, not anger, resolve. If the emperor required one man from their family, then one man would go, but it would not be her father. As the night deepened, Mulan rose quietly. She entered the house. She touched her father's sleeping hand. Then she took his sword, his armor, and his name. Before the sun rose, Mulan was gone. And if you love stories of courage, sacrifice, and hidden strength, don't forget to subscribe and share this story with someone who needs to hear it. The road away from the village was long. Mulan did not look back. If she did, she might turn around. The armor was heavy on her shoulders. Her father's sword felt strange in her hands. Her hair, once long and flowing, had been cut in the dark of night. Each step felt like stepping into a life that was not hers, but she kept walking. By sunrise, she reached the training camp. Rows of tents stretched across the valley. Banners snapped in the wind. Soldiers shouted. Metal clashed against metal. This was no place for hesitation. Mulan lowered her voice, straightened her posture, hid her fear. She gave her father's name to the captain. And from that moment, she was no longer a daughter. She was a soldier. Training was brutal. The other recruits were strong, loud, competitive. They laughed at her when she stumbled. They mocked her when she struggled to lift her sword. She was smaller, slower, and every mistake felt dangerous. If they discovered her secret, it would not just mean shame, it could mean death. At night, when the camp was silent, she lay awake, staring at the stars. She missed her mother's gentle voice. She missed the quiet village. She missed being herself. But she reminded herself why she was there. Her father. Each time she wanted to quit, she saw him trying to stand straight when his name was called. So she trained harder. When others slept, she practiced. When others complained, she endured. Slowly, something changed. She learned to move with precision instead of force. She studied the wind before releasing an arrow. She used strategy when strength failed her. She stopped trying to fight like the others. She began fighting like herself. One morning, during a climbing challenge that no recruit had completed, Mulan reached the top, not by brute strength, but by thinking differently. The captain's eyes lingered on her. For the first time, there was respect. Then came the real test, war. The Hun army swept across the northern mountains like a storm. The battlefield was chaos. Snow mixed with ash. Horses screamed. Steel rang. Fear rose in her throat, but she did not run. When an avalanche threatened to bury her entire unit, Mulan saw what others did not. She aimed a cannon toward the mountain ridge. One shot. The snow broke loose. The enemy army was swallowed. Silence followed. She had saved them. saved them all. The soldiers cheered. The captain stared in shock. Mulan had done the impossible, but victory has a cost. In the final clash, she was injured. When the army's healer removed her armor, the truth was revealed. The soldier they trusted, the warrior who saved them, was not a man. The camp fell silent. Betrayal filled their faces. The law was clear. A woman in the army was forbidden. The captain could have ordered her execution. Instead, he looked at her long and hard. "You have dishonored us," he said quietly, "but you also saved us." He turned away.
Do not return.
Leave, and do not return. Weak, wounded, alone, Mulan was left in the snow. Her secret had cost her everything. But as she lay there, she saw movement in the mountains. The Huns had survived. The battle was not over. And though she had been cast aside, her duty was not finished. The snow was cold beneath her. The sky above her was endless. Mulan could have stayed there. She could have returned home quietly. She had already done more than anyone expected. But honor, true honor, was not about being seen. It was about doing what was right, even when no one is watching. Through the drifting snow, she saw them. The Hun warriors. They had survived the avalanche, and they were heading toward the imperial city, toward the emperor, toward the heart of China. Mulan struggled to her feet. Her body ached. Her secret had been exposed. Her comrades had turned away from her, but none of that mattered. She ran. She rode through the night, and when she reached the city gates, she shouted warnings. The guards laughed. The soldiers ignored her. "She has already shamed us," they whispered. But the captain, the one who had spared her life, saw something in her eyes. Not pride, not rebellion. Truth. He listened, and he chose to trust her. When the Huns attacked the palace, chaos exploded through the streets. Fire, smoke, screams. The emperor was trapped inside. The very army that once rejected her now looked to her for direction. Mulan did not hesitate. She formed a plan, not with strength, but with intelligence. She and her former comrades disguised themselves. They entered the palace quietly. They outmaneuvered the enemy, and in the final moment, face to face with the Hun leader, Mulan stood tall, not as a soldier pretending, not as a daughter hiding, but as herself. When she defeated him, the city fell silent. The emperor stepped forward. The entire kingdom watched. "You risked everything," he said, "for your father, for your country." He bowed. The emperor bowed to her. And in that moment, it was not about whether she was a man or a woman. It was about courage. The soldiers followed. The people followed. Her name echoed through the city. Mulan, Mulan, Mulan. But when she was offered riches, a high position, fame and honor, she chose something else. Home. When she returned to her village, her father rushed forward, not angry, not ashamed. He dropped his cane and held her tightly. "The greatest gift," he whispered, "is not honor. It is you." And so Mulan's story was not one of pretending to be someone else. It was the story of a daughter who loved deeply, who acted boldly, and who proved that courage does not belong to one gender. It belongs to the heart. And sometimes, the bravest warriors are the ones who leave quietly before sunrise.